Now, we do have a new requirement under the Children's Internet Protection Act to teach internet safety. We don't have any regulations as of this point in time, but the regulations are likely going to be the FCC is going to trust the good faith of the school districts to implement these programs, and that's all we're going to do. There's also an increasing recognition that misuse of these technologies is affecting life at school. So that's another driving factor leading to schools wanting to start addressing these issues. When schools provide this education, this will require a multidisciplinary team. A concern I have is that the requirement to provide internet safety education is coming in through the E-rate channel, which means it may end up with the techies. And it's very important that there be a core group of people who are saying, okay, how are we going to talk about these things? Because this involves risk behavior, which means you need to have your health teachers and your counselors and your school resource officers involved, as well as technology, as well as media literacy and your school librarians. There are also major, major concerns with a lot of the curriculum that's out there. This curriculum was developed with funding by the Department of Justice. We all know that the DARE, drug abuse resistance education approach, was ineffective. This is DARE on steroids. The authoritarian delivery of inaccurate information, fear-based messages, and simplistic rules against normative online behavior. It's astounding. I mean, I've seen safety education. Never post photos of yourself or friends online. 1 in 7 young people has been sexually solicited by an adult predator. Inaccurate. You know, very, very difficult situation. So the action plan is that we've got to get school librarians, ed tech specialists, counselors, health teachers, school resource officers, as well as older students involved in developing the plans for delivering this kind of instruction. If curriculum is being adopted, I also think schools can develop their own instructional activities, but if it's being adopted, these resources have to be reviewed to make sure that they are grounded in the research literature and incorporate effective risk prevention. We need to use what's known as the social norms approach to risk prevention. The social norms approach corrects the misperception that they might have that other teens are engaging in this kind of risky behavior, and identifies, models, and promotes the healthy protective behaviors that are the actual norm. One of the times that I did this, it was so wonderful, is when I was presenting to the Girl Scout Leadership Organization. It was their conference, and they came into the room, and I asked them, I said, okay, do you think this is true or false? That the majority of young people are generally making good choices online and effectively handling the negative situations that occur. I said, oh, that's not right. That's not true. I said, guess what? That's what the research says. The research says that the majority of you are generally making positive choices, and you know what to do if something goes wrong, and I'm going to prove it to you. What I'd like you to do, sitting in your circles, is to tell me what your standards are for what kind of material you're going to post online. And then we went through that, and then the second time I said, okay, now you're going to tell me what your standards are for interacting with people online. So I had them do this in small group, and then we reported out in the large group, and they had excellent standards that, when put together, was a very good selection of standards. I knew some of the things that maybe they didn't, so I was able to ask some questions. Well, what if, blah, 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 which was able to deepen their understanding. And the key of success was when a woman came up to me afterwards, and she said she overheard something as they were leaving, and one young girl said to another, wow, there's some things I need to change on my Facebook. She never would have said that had I told her. But the fact that she heard it from her peers was very effective.